I'm a voice hearer. Yes, I said it, and it may shock you that I'm quite willing to say it. Before you switch off or you run away screaming, please listen to what I said. This is straight from the heart. It's not scripted. I just need you to listen for a few minutes. People who write newspapers need to sell that paper. So they will tell you lies and they will blow things out of proportion. But one of the biggest crimes against illness is the way the media report voice hearing. You need to realise that people who hear voices can be anybody and everybody, and one day it might even be you. Yes, voice hearers can be anybody, and that might scare some of you, and I don't see why it would, because voice hearers are not going out of their way to hurt other people, and not everybody who hears voices is being told to hurt other people. If anything, voice hearers, those with negative voices, are more likely to hurt themselves because of the constant grinding down that the voices cause. And one problem with hearing voices is you can feel socially isolated, especially when you tell those closest to you that you're going through this scary experience and they walk away. Whereas if somebody of a religious background was saying that they heard voices, it would be seen as a good thing or accepted because people think that's their Lord speaking to them. Everybody in their life has heard a voice. Even if it's when somebody dies and you think you hear them speaking to you, or you wake up still groggy and you think somebody shouted your name. People don't tell people because of the media and the way that they've stigmatised it, but it's perfectly normal. But the people you hear about in the media are the people like me who hear negative voices inside the head, and sometimes more than one voice. But I still can't see why the intelligence of most people who will pick up newspapers every day and read newspapers every day will still take the word of these journalists about these voice hearers without doing any research at all. Voice hearers who are in the mental health system, who hear negative voices, are already putting up with a battle inside their head, and this constant battle that they're having to do with society does not help. I just want people to go online and see the true face of hearing voices. I want people to go online or to the library or whatever source they can and find out what voice hearing actually is, what causes voice hearing. That not everybody who hears voices is running down the street with axes and knives. Not everybody who hears voices is a threat to society. You need to start stepping away from the media and start stepping towards mental health charities or real voice hearers accounts or even videos like this. It will be hard because society has shunned most people who hear voices. People stay anonymous and they try to deal with what is a frightening experience by themselves because they feel like those closest to them wouldn't understand or would turn their back on them. That is what happens. For parents out there as well who think that people who hear voices are some sort of sexual predator or are going to be a danger to children, that's not true either. And I think by you having that idea about mental illness, it will go on to your children. And if we can change the parental generation or even the grandparent generation, the next generation of children will be more tolerant and more understanding. Living with voices is a struggle, to put it mildly. But remember that there are people who hear positive voices and people that actually enjoy hearing their voices. The people like myself that have to put up with the negative voices are the ones that feel the most isolated. To try and put it in a way that you can understand as a non-voice hearer, I guess I would say that imagine all your insecurities about yourself, all the bad things that have happened in your life, and imagine that magnified to such an extent that every single day you're hearing those things. It could be something so small like you overcook the potatoes. The voices will make you feel like that was your fault because you did something wrong during the day, or you had a certain thought or a feeling. But then there are voices as well that make you feel bad about somebody breaking a leg or somebody dying, even though you was nowhere near them at the time. You had nothing to do with that person dying. And when voice hearers have to live with that every single day, constantly grinding them down, life becomes hard. People just don't see the point in living with that. And if society could change and society could be a bit more understanding of the experience, they would feel more able to be open with people, to engage with family and friends honestly about what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what is really going on with their state of mind. They'd be more likely to go seek out some help and start joining groups. And I mean, if society started being more accepting of people that heard voices, these people could start feeling better about themselves. They could counteract the voices. They could live their life without worrying all the time. Who knows about the voices? Are they going to have a breakthrough through their window by somebody that thinks that the media image is true? So, if you are a family member, a friend of a voice hearer, then open your arms and your mind and accept them for the person that they are. Just because they hear voices doesn't mean that they've changed. They aren't somebody different to the person you knew previously. They're just the person you love that's going through an illness. Sure, it's an illness you can't see and you can't necessarily understand, but there are physical illnesses that are like that, and people are understanding. So stop focusing on the negative. Stop seeing voice hearers as these knife carrying, gun hiding people that are gonna kill you or your friends or your family or your children or your pets, and start seeing them as for what they are. Voice hearers are people. They are people with an illness. These people who hear negative voices would rather hurt themselves than anybody else out there. They are people with demons. And we, as voice hearers, never mind they, we, as I am with this group of people, need open arms, not a shut society. So, thank you, and I hope that some of you will start putting down those newspapers.